Here we go, another day, another discussion. Today's topic, what is the difference between a debit card and a credit card? Two different things. They look the same, right? They look exactly the same. They're going to be both be a credit card looking physical item. I'm sure, yes, they are digital as well, but they're very similar, but they are actually different. They can be used together similarly. You can go to the local grocery store, or you can go to the local department store, Target, Walmart, whatever, a gas station, and you can use either one, right? You can use either one. They're both should normally both be accepted because most of the credit or debit cards are going to have either a Visa logo or a MasterCard logo or something along those lines. Those are the two most prominent companies that support these credit cards and debit cards. So let's go ahead and talk about the first item that is on the subject, which is going to be the actual debit card. So what is a debit card? Like I said, they look similar to a credit card, but they actually are different. Now, a debit card can be used like a credit card in the fact that they are accepted usually at most places. So usually you might have a debit card which is associated and or connected to your checking account, possibly even your savings account. Usually it's going to be your checking account. And your checking account is going to be also held at one of your banks, the bank that you decided to store your money, whether it's a bank or a credit union, either one. Mostly it's going to be like a bank, for example, like a Bank of America, a Wells Fargo, a Chase, or a local bank in your area. Checking accounts also can be at through a credit union and whatnot. So most people have bank accounts, which is going to include usually a checking account and or a savings account. Now, when you get these checking accounts, they're going to offer you or ask you if you would like a debit card. And so a debit card is going to be, like I said, looks like a credit card, but this is different in the way that when you use a debit card, if it has a Visa logo, you can use it anywhere that Visa is accepted. If it has a MasterCard logo on the front, you can use it anywhere MasterCard is accepted. But when you use a debit card and you make a transaction, what happens is it's going to get deposited from your actual checking account. There's no credit involved. So if you go to the gas station to fuel up your vehicle and you use a debit card, you're going to notice that your gas transaction, let's say $75 to get a tank of gas, it's going to pull money straight from your checking account. So with that said, you need to have those funds in your checking account because it's a direct transaction. So if you go to the department store or the grocery store, again, they will most likely accept it, but it's going to be deposited right from your checking account. So that's how that debit card works. It's not something that you pay later, and it isn't something that you carry a balance from one month to another. It's a straight transaction. You use it and it automatically pulls money in. Pretty much, if you use it, if you do not have funds in your checking account to use that card, you will be notified right there at the teller. The teller will be able to know if there are funds in this account or not. And one of the things also is when you use a debit card, it, like I said, you have to make sure that you have money in your checking account. If you don't, it's not going to go through. And so that's one of the things. It's almost just like the old school days when you used to use a check. When you used to go to the grocery store and you used to write out a check, and that check would, I mean, we still write checks, yes, but not as much as we used to. But you used to be able to write a check at a convenience store or department store or the grocery store, and they would deposit. The transaction would come right out of your checking account. Same with the debit card. It's just a little bit more easier than carrying around a checkbook. And it's a quick transaction. The thing is, you just need to know that you need to have money in your checking account because it will not go through if you don't, most likely. So that's a debit card. It comes straight from your checking account. Now, a credit card, most people know what a credit card is, but for those of you that may or may not know, a credit card is similar to a debit card in the fact it's a card, it fits in your wallet, it has your account number on it. and it may have a Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and so forth logo on the front, which means anywhere that those, it's accepted anywhere these are accepted. But the difference between it is carries a balance, but it's actually credit given to you by the credit card company. For example, if you went to Citibank and you applied for a credit card, they will give you a credit limit. Has nothing to do with your checking account. They will give you a credit limit. I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's say $2,000 credit limit. Therefore, you have the buying power of $2,000 that you can use with your credit card, and you can use it pretty much anywhere that Visa, MasterCard, American Express, whatever the card is accepted. And when you do that, it doesn't take money out of your checking account. It carries a balance. You're going to get a statement at the end of the month, and it's going to tell you how much you've used on this credit card, and it's going to give you a minimum payment, and it's going to tell you when that payment is due. And to make that payment, you need to pay it most likely through your checking account. So you use a credit card, and when you use a credit card, it's going to carry a balance. And then again, you have to be aware of how much you've been spending on this credit card, because it doesn't pull from your checking account. It starts to add up, and then at the end of the month, you're going to be required to make a payment on it. You do not have to make a payment on the entire purchases that you've had throughout the month, but you have to have at least a minimum payment. And my advice is that you bring it down as low as you can, all the way down below, I would say 10, 20 if best, 30, 20 if even better, 10% of your limit, because that will help you with your credit score. Let's go back to the example of a $2,000 credit limit. If you use all $2,000 of it, which you can, you need to make sure that you pay it down all the way down, in my advice, down to 20, 30, if best, 10% of that balance, because it'll boost your credit score. If you carry that balance to the next month, let's say you use all of your $2,000, like I said, you could, but you only make a $100 payment, therefore you have a $1,900 balance to the next month. That is an extreme high utilization, and it will hinder your credit score, and this is where your credit score starts dipping every month. So you don't want that to happen. Like I said, you can use your credit card as much as you want on the limit, but please make sure you bring it back down. I advise all the way down to 20, 30, if best, even 10%, because if you do that, you have money the next month. You can use it again. It's a revolving credit, and it will help boost your credit. And so this is just really the difference is a debit card, you're not going to have a payment at the end of the month because it comes straight from your checking account. And that's how you like to operate. You can do that. A credit card will have a balance at the end of the month. It does not draw from your checking account. It carries a balance, but they send you a statement, and then you need to pay into that credit card through your checking account at the end of the month. And I'm talking typical. I know there's variants along those lines, but I'm just talking typical. So I hope that helps. That's the difference between a checking account. That's the difference between a debit card and a savings card. Sorry, I'm getting all stumbled up here. A debit card and a credit card. There are differences, though they look the same, and they both may have a Visa, MasterCard, or an American Express logo on it. There are huge differences. So you need to be aware what you're using, when you're using it, and how you're using it. So I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a little bit of insight. If you're new to the whole credit card game, it's a wonderful game, but it requires a lot of responsibility and a lot of maintenance and a lot of wisdom when you use these cards. So if you like this type of content, I would ask that you please like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you like this and you're on Instagram, thank you for following me on Instagram. Please also heart it and comment if you'd like. And I appreciate your support. This is going to go out to both of my avenues, both of my supporters. And I really am thankful for all of you. Just stay tuned for tomorrow. There'll be a new topic, a new discussion, and new ways to be informed.